Okay, testing. Hi guys, this is Yaoquan with another tutorial on another watercolor tutorial. So today I'll be doing I decided to do it a bit earlier because I got something on later. So as you can see, this is our image that we'll be painting. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just gonna start. Okay, so what you have to start with for any watercolor painting, right, is that for your base layer, always remember there's a very watery layer, and is where you want to apply all your very light tones and let it blend around. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So what I'm using now is a Naples yellow with a very huge amount of water. So think percentage wise is about maybe 90% water and 10% pigments. So yeah, so I'm gonna get the whole shape out first. Yeah, so at this point you don't want to worry about any crazy amount of details or the hard edge details. What you want to be doing now is just to lay out this entire thing, because okay, what I'm doing here is that I'm avoiding the painting the eyes, because I'm gonna use a bit of I'm gonna paint the eyes later on at the later part. So when I paint this, I just paint everywhere around the entire bird. So I'm gonna go for the entire silhouette first. So don't be too concerned about any other stuff yet. Okay, so just paint lay the whole thing out with a nice silhouette, including the wings, the tip of the wings. Okay, so right now you guys probably can't really see much going on, but okay, what I'm doing here is just layering a bit of water here and there. Okay, so before you even start, right, you need to have your colors ready. So for this image wise, okay, so for this image wise over here, you can see there's a bit of reds and a bit of browns and grays. So I would say the tricky part about getting this image to look nice is that you have to capture that fuzzy kind of feeling for the bird. So that's what I'm gonna be showing you today lah. So stay tuned if you always wanted to paint something fuzzy but don't really know how to do that. Okay, so okay, yeah, so I'm done with the base layer. So before you even start adding any colors, right, okay, so as you can see, it's prominently reddish, very red. Okay, so I'm going to use a bit of I'm going to I want it to be rather even. Okay, the water to be rather even, so that it spreads at a very consistent red rather than having it go all over the place. So I'm going to start by just dabbing a bit of reds like this. Okay, a drop. Use another brush to actually spread around to direct it to where you want it to be. So I normally have two brushes. So one brush is to get a bit of color going on. Okay, and the thing about doing gradients, right, is that you don't have to paint all the way. You just need to roughly have it around the area, and when it dries, it will naturally balance itself out. So something like this. Okay, then you want to keep reinforcing the upper part, so there's a bit of gradient from the top to the bottom. Okay, so now I'm adding a bit of reds over here. Okay, a bit of thing over here and closer to the edge as well. So don't introduce any painterly strokes. Okay, right now what you want to do is just get a bit of gradient going on. Okay, and the thing about this, right, is that you don't have to worry about the reds traveling to other areas. Okay, which is actually recommended, because sometimes it's quite a nice touch to have a bit of reddish flush around the area. Okay, for this case, right, the red is very prominent, so I'm gonna actually add a bit more. Okay, around here, the chest area of the bird. Okay, so now you should get a very vanilla mixed with a bit of rose kind of feeling. Okay, the next part is I'm gonna go for the browns around the wings. So I'm using a rather smaller brush. Okay, the color that I'm using is actually burnt umber right now. Okay, so for this case, right, if your paper starts to warp a bit, right, you gotta sort of press it down in the center so that it doesn't spread too much. So I'm just gonna add a bit of burnt umber over here. Okay, if your silhouette is painted well, it should let it bleed. Okay, encourage this kind of bleeding. It's not a mistake. Okay, this one is a deliberate effect that you want to achieve. So just let it bleed around. what gives the watercolor is very dreamlike kind of feel. So you want to actually maintain that. Okay, around here. So just apply to areas. So why I'm not worried about this, because my subsequent layers are going to be darker, so it's okay for the colors to actually go above each other. Okay, so I'm going to paint a bit into the beak. Okay, so right now I'm going to remove a bit of colors over here. So just using a piece of tissue, okay, you want to roll it up, okay, and just lightly dab it away like this. Okay, then now this part is a lot drier. Okay, then you can, so for the tricky part about this painting is that you will need to mix a gray color. So gray is something that it's really hard to mix. Okay, so okay, what I'll do is I'll get burnt umber mixed with indigo. Okay, burnt umber mixed with indigo to get something like this first. Okay, can you guys see? Okay, then next up I'm going to throw in a bit of purple. Okay, this gray, like this kind of tone. So I'm going to use this to actually add on. Okay, it's rather wet at this point, so what I'm going to do is you actually can tilt your paper slightly. Okay, right here, tilt your paper slightly so that it flows the other way. Okay, hold it up slightly. Okay, then you're going to start applying to the top areas. Okay, so for this case, right, you want to be more slightly more generous with the color tone. So once again, I'm going to mix burnt umber, indigo and purple. Okay, get it nice and even. Okay, nice and even this way. Get the colors very nice and stark. Okay, for this case, right, is okay, so right now I'm still leaving out the eyes, the eye to be white. Okay, because I want it to be, I'm going to paint that later on. Okay, so just apply to the areas that you want it to go to. Over here, a bit over here. Okay, something like that. Somewhat like this. Okay, so now you can see the shape is coming to take, the shape is taking form. Okay, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to retouch the chest area with a much more vibrant red. Okay, and pushing away, so I'm pushing back a bit of the grays back to the top. Okay, reinforcing the reds. So apply a bit here, very vibrant red. Okay, but okay, just blend it around this way. So along the edges, right, you want to just introduce a bit of little strands of feathery effect. Okay, around here as well. Okay, yeah. So let it dry this way. Okay, let it dry in a way. Don't go and like keep rendering it, because sometimes the water actually does a much better job than your painterly strokes. So just trust in the water's ability to create a very nice gradient. So let it dry this way. Okay, while waiting for this to dry, okay, I'm gonna work on the other areas. Okay, which is the back of the tail right now. Okay, I need it to be slightly darker, so I'm going to use burnt umber and indigo again but I'm not applying to the entire tail, so I'm just applying to the upper areas, getting a very nice clean edge over here. Very nice, very clean. Okay, around here like this. Okay, can you guys see? Yeah. So the next part I'm going to apply is the other wing, which is at the back, around here as well. So I'm using burnt umber and indigo. So make sure that it's slightly leaning towards the brown side when you mix these two. Indigo is a very dark blue. Okay, then burnt umber is a very dark brown. So for this case, you want to have a higher percentage of burnt umber so that it leans towards the brown side. Okay, so have a bit of burnt umber over here and here. Okay, just lay around the edges. So as you can see, it's slightly drying and it's creating quite a nice effect. Okay, next up, okay, sorry, this part there's a little mistake over here which I don't really want it. Okay, so okay, just let it dry. The paper is naturally gonna warp when you use a bit too much water, so just take note of that, but don't panic. Okay, just wait for it to dry, then it will flatten itself out. So next time I'm gonna paint the little claw over here. Once again, go for the entire silhouette. Okay, you're not ready. Okay, so this one is the whole silhouette over here. A very nice silhouette of a claw. Okay, let the thing touch the body a bit so that it blends into the bird itself. Okay, so just do something like that. A very nice and sharp claw. Another sharp claw over here. Okay, when this is slightly done, okay, I'm gonna start working on the beak areas now. Okay, so now you can see there's quite a nice blend of thing, but what you want to do now is actually enhance a bit more around this chest area. So bring it up this way. You still can work on it when it's not totally dry. So just now I didn't want to touch it because it's still in the process of drying. So now that it's slightly dried, okay, I can actually make it more prominent this way. Okay, you want it to wait maybe like a few minutes so that at this time, right, the bleeding won't travel too far, which is what you want. So it's a rather controlled process now. Okay, rather controlled process. So just get this very nice and fuzzy feel over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna paint in the eyes. Okay, so for the eyes, it's gonna go for a very dark color. So make sure that your brush is not too wet. Okay, so just using burnt umber indigo. Okay, to paint the eyes. Take note that I'm gonna leave a little white spot for the shine there, which gives the bird its kind of like it has a soul kind of feel. Okay, can you guys see? Yeah, so just a little white spot over there. And okay, so in the other areas which I'm going to use this for is around the beak. So for the beak, right now you can see it's slightly grayish. So just use a bit of water to remove a bit of paint over here to bring back a little bit of the beak. Okay, then you want to just dab it. Use a cleaner tissue over here. Okay, just dab it off. Okay, and I'm gonna use a bit of browns for this case. A very little amount of burnt umber, just for the beak over here, like this. Give a nice and sharp end. Okay. Then what I'm gonna do now is get a very nice fuzzy feel for this part. So this part is getting pretty roundish. So what you can do is just using water. Okay, just using water to borrow a bit of the colors over here. You want to just create a very nice feathery effect along the edge. So sometimes you can actually just use the color that is on the paper itself to bring out a bit of fuzziness over here. Okay, so just break the edge around this area. Okay, so somewhere over here. Give a nice little maybe a crown, a bit more feathery shape over here, and over here as well. Just create a fuzzy feeling around the edges. Okay. Yeah. So with this, right? Okay. What I'm gonna do now is this part is slightly dry already, so I'm gonna use like burnt umber to sort of indicate the feathers now. Okay. So can you guys see? So it looks like that right now. Okay. Yeah. So it's a nice blending of colors here and there. Okay. So yeah, just tilt the paper up slightly. I'm gonna reinforce the top with a bit of grays. Okay, so once again, gray is burnt umber plus indigo and a bit of purple. I don't really know. That's just how I mix it lah. So there's many ways to get gray, I think. Okay, so this is just one of the many ways. Okay, so somewhere around here. Because what's tricky about this is that the top of the bird is made of a grays, and also the eye is slightly blackish, so sometimes it's hard to notice to see the eye. So don't worry. Okay, just wait for it to dry before you actually reinforce the part of the eyes. Okay, right now most of the areas are pretty dry, so I actually can go in and paint a bit of details over here, as well. Just a bit of details over here along the edge this way. Okay, so you can see something like this, right? Okay, then I'm gonna use a bit of the same color. I don't wash it off. I'm gonna retouch the tip of the beak over here, just to create a more prominent because sometimes when you have a new color, right, you want to actually introduce it to certain areas of the image so that they look like they are more cohesive. Okay, this way. Okay, then next up, what I'm going to do is, this part is rather dry. Okay, it has dried up quite a bit, so right now I'm gonna use a much lesser water percentage to your paint percentage, so much lesser water. Okay, so then I'm gonna actually add in a bit of details over here. So this part of the wing, okay, just press down this way. As you can see, right, there's not much bleeding going on right now. All the bleeding process is already like established. So this part is where you can actually play around and add a bit more details. So what I'm using here is a burnt umber. Okay, so use the burnt umber for here as well. Create a very nice shape. So here is where you can actually clean up your edges, clean up your shape of the bird. Okay, around here. So the burnt umber comes all the way to around this area, around here like this. Okay, so a very nice mixture of bird color. Okay. So for this case, I'm gonna paint the underside of the bird, the wing. Okay, the wing area. So what I'm using is a burnt umber and indigo to actually paint this area. Very nice and thin this way. So it helps to bring out this, the wing shape. Okay, be careful of certain areas that hasn't dried completely yet. You need to work on the area first. Okay, so just get the shape of this wing out. Okay, with the same color that I have, I'm gonna retouch a bit of the around the claws and also the beak area. So just retouch the claw. Okay, so something like this. So there's a very nice gradient going on, so keep it that way. Okay, don't ruin it. Okay, so for this, the second feet, right, it's okay, it's gonna go slightly into the body, so it's something like that. Okay, so can you guys see it's slightly into the body? And for the edge over here, I'm gonna soften it. You want to soften this edge because you want to create this very fuzzy feel. Okay, over here. Then without wasting this color, you can actually use it to sort of create a slight bit of form around the bird like this way. Okay, so that it's not completely wasted. The paint is not completely wasted. Okay, so once this is done, right, okay, we are gonna work on something else while waiting for this part to dry. So I'm gonna work on the right now I'm gonna work on the twig, the branch that I have over here. So for the twig, right, it's a much darker tone over here. So I'm gonna use a bit of browns, okay, and a bit of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre helps to liven up this whole branch itself, making it not too dull this way. Don't worry about painting over your claw, you can always retouch it later. So just go ahead and just paint over, okay? Paint over like this. Get a very nice, very stylized shape. So for illustration purposes, right, what I'm doing here is that I'm making my edges very nice and hard, very stylized, okay? Not too this way like this. Okay, very nice and stylized, okay? So same thing for the other part. So what I've drawn here is right now when I see my whole image, right, I ask myself what kind of colors can I actually introduce to the painting to make it slightly more interesting to capture a bit of audience. So I mean to capture the audience attention. So capture the audience. So I'm gonna add a bit of greenery to it again. Okay, so somewhere over here. So I'm just gonna paint. Right now I'm painting in the branches. Okay, so try to keep the branches very organic. Okay, very organic. Let it split nicely. Split this way. Okay. Then now I'm gonna introduce a bit of greens. Yeah. Okay, so a bit of green. I'm using a sap green and olive green, a mixture of both. Okay. So for leaves wise, alright, you want to go for. So what's the purpose of these leaves? Is to serve as a like a scale comparison for the bird and the branch. So I'm gonna get it slightly. Can you see? Okay, yeah. So right now when you paint leaves, right, okay, you just want to go for the entire silhouette of it. You don't want to be too obsessed with painting all the veins right now. Okay, so that's not your main concern at this point. Okay, just get a nice very try to make it more unpredictable. You don't want to paint your silhouette in a very predictable way, like how you paint. You guys know what I mean, right? Okay, so you don't want that. Okay, right now try to make it more unpredictable in the sense that, okay, some leaves can be maybe slightly slightly larger, some leaves slightly smaller, okay, then the way it bends around, the way it twists and turns, so it helps to make it more interesting and more believable, something like that. So you can see my tree silhouette, I try to make it different in terms of size, in terms of the way it bends, and so on and so forth. So for this case, right, I'm gonna introduce a bit of like the way I paint this is maybe a bit of fruits and berries for the bird to accompany. So I'm gonna start marking in the little branches over here. Then right next to it, I'm gonna add a bit of berries. So for berries, I'm choosing a color which is pretty similar to the bird. So I'm going for a little maroon color, okay, a little bit of maroon. So right here, so just do a little circle shapes here and there, okay, something like this. So something like this. Once again, okay, these are this image is these berries are just based off imagination. You don't really need much of a reference to actually come up with something like that, okay. So just rather a quick feel of how it goes. So if it feels alright, okay, then good to go. So right now the branch is okay, so this side of the branch is done, so I'm going to do a bit more for the other side, okay. What I want, the whole feeling of this is that I want this whole bird to feel very in its natural habitat and is surrounded by greenery, okay. So I'm going to paint a bit of leaves as well, leaves here as well. So for leaves wise, use sap green and olive green. Why use olive green? Because olive green is a much much more duller green, but it actually helps to bring it closer towards reality, okay. So it looks more realistic that way. In nature, we see a lot of our greens are not as bright as the sap green itself, so this one helps to do that, okay. So have a bit of leaves over here, okay, so maybe a smaller leaf this way, okay, and a bit of, so one thing to actually implement here is that you can actually create a bit of overlapping. So have the leaf go over here and maybe appear somewhere on the other side like this, so it looks like it's coming from the other side like this. Yeah, so here as well, maybe I can add a bit of shrubs like that. So make it more make the greenery a bit more dense, okay, so something like that. Then right now I can add in a bit of berries for the bottom as well, so just very lightly just put a bit of reds over here, okay. So as you can see, it's slightly bleeding into the green spice, okay. I'm just gonna leave it that way. It's pretty nice, okay. So something like that, okay. A bit of little berries over here as well, okay. So at this point, right, the bird has slightly dry already, okay. So I'm gonna work on the eyes right now to actually push it even further, make it even more prominent. So for this case, right, you want to use almost close to no water at all. Just use the water that is on your palette, okay, that's on your palette. So very little water, a lot of pigments, okay. Then just reinforce this eye area. Okay, you want to save, most of the times, right, you want to save the black, something which is close to black or your darkest color for the eye itself, so that eyes or certain areas such as maybe around the beak. Once again, I'm retouching the beak so that you can actually give a bit more details here and there. Okay, for the eye, it's not only just this thing, okay. What you need to include is actually a little bit of details around the eyes. Okay, maybe there's always this circular rim around the eyes that help to make it more. It's sort of like a human's eyebrows, so you want to actually add that in. So without the eyebrows, they maybe just paint a bit more over here. Yeah. So this one of the tip and trick to how to. Okay, so for this part is sort of dried up already, so I can actually paint in a bit of details of the feathers. So this way, I'm just going for the lower wing like this. This way. I'll paint in one feather at a time, so like this. And like this again. going up like this. Okay, just a bit of details for the feather. Then so now it's just a line work. Okay, what you have to do is use a bit of water, use a bit of paint. Okay, just paint this whole thing like this. Okay, so something like that, and a bit of thing over here. Then you want to bring a bit of the browns into the pattern into the body as well. Okay, so something like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so lastly what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reinforce this branch over here. So when wait for it to dry, then you want to apply a slightly darker color towards the bottom area of the branch like this. So it creates a little illusion of it being having the form. Okay, this way. So I start with a bit of shadow over here. Okay, like this. Then you can paint a bit of streaks this way, streaks. This way. Okay, once again, don't worry about painting over the claws of the bird. Okay, just paint this way. Okay, from here you can actually start to connect the little things over here. Okay, so somewhat like that. Just give it a slight bit of connection. So continue painting a bit of streaks for the edge. Okay, over here. So you can just create a bit of texture over here. Okay, then with the same color, I'm just gonna work around a bit over here and over here as well. Okay, then with that, I'll say this is pretty much done, a pretty much finished look for the robin itself. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, so see you next time. Yeah, can you guys see? Yeah, okay, so bye bye. Oh, how do I end this? Okay.